Viewers, my name is Dipti and today I'll be talking about osteoarthritis, its introduction, causes, types, pathology, clinical feature, examination, investigation, and treatment. So, what is osteoarthritis? Osteoarthritis is a degenerative mechanical joint disease primarily affecting the articular cartilages and subchondral space. It is a multifactorial process due to wear and tear of joints as one ages and not exactly inflammatory process, and thus the term osteoarthrosis can also be used. Now we will see what are the risk factors. Common risk factors are age, inflammatory process, joint injury, mechanical stress, obesity, and others. As we can include neurological disease, congenital malformations, some previous trauma, malalignment like coxa vara, internal derangement of the knees. There are two types, primary and secondary. Primary is affecting old age, mainly weight-bearing joints, the knee and hip. In generalized variety, the trapeziometacarpal joint of thumb and the distal interphalangeal joint of the fingers are often affected. Secondary, in this type, there is underlying primary disease of joints, which leads to degeneration of joints, often many years later. It may occur at any age after adolescence, and it occurs mainly at the hip joint. Primary OA is more common than secondary OA. Osteoarthritis mainly affects the synovial joint. Synovial joint consists of synovium, articular cartilages, and the inner lining of the joint is known as the joint space, which is often reduced in osteoarthritis. There is type A cells which clears the debris in between the joints, and type B cells. There are blood vessels and lymphatics in the connective tissue between the joint spaces. Arthritis mainly affects the articular cartilage and subchondral spaces. The first change to be observed is the increase in water content, depletion of proteoglycans from the cartilage matrix. Repeated weight bearing causes fibrillation and grinding mechanism of joints, leading to reduction in joint spaces. Continuous rubbing of subchondral spaces leads to hard, glossy, ivory appearance of the bone. Margins of the bone undergo hypertrophic changes, leading to formation of spurs, also known as osteophytes. The mechanism leads to formation of subchondral cyst and sclerosis. So we can see what are the changes it is going through in osteoarthritis. In normal bone, the articular cartilage is normal, while the bone starts to bending over one another when the space is reduced in osteoarthritis, causing friction, inflammation, and ultimately pain, causing thickening of joint capsules, stiffness, and severe chronic cases may also cause deformity of the joints. As we all know, the cartilaginous cells are known as chondrocytes, which undergo apoptosis as one advances, causes reduction in the proteoglycan secretion and increase in collagen production, leading to less elasticity and thus limiting the joints movements, painful movements of the joints as well.
It gets softer, weaker, and continues to lose elasticity, and it starts to flake off into the synovial space, called joint mice. As type A cells in the synovium attempt to remove the debris, immune cells like lymphocytes and macrophages are recruited into the synovial membrane, which produces pro-inflammatory cytokines that ultimately cause inflammation of the synovium as well, called synovitis. Also, fibrillations form, essentially these cracks or clefts on what used to be smooth articular surface. The cartilage continues to erode away until the bone's exposed, allowing it to rub with the other bone, which causes bone eburnation, making it look like polished ivory. Finally, on the edges, bone grows outward, called osteophytes, which makes the joints look wider, something that's most obvious when it's seen in the distal and proximal interphalangeal joints, or the finger joints, called Heberden nodes in the distal joints and Bouchard nodes in the proximal joints.
As a clinical representation, we will see in an osteoarthritis. It can be a monoarticular or oligoarticular or symmetric involvements. The hand and knee changes. The symptom signs will be further explained in this PPT. Seen on starting of an activity, which later gets worse, cramp-like, and comes after activity. There is crepitus, that is crackling sound, swelling of the joint due to effusion caused by the inflammatory changes of the synovial tissues. Hip joint is mainly affected in the Western living habits, while knee joints are mostly affected in Asian living habits. The other signs are stiffness due to pain and muscle spasm initially, but later capsular contraction and incongruity of the joint surfaces causes stiffness. Later, there can be instability of joint, locking of the joint to loose body, and frayed menisci. Here again you can see Heberden's note and Bouchard's notes. These are some of the symptoms we should never ignore when the patient comes with representation of osteoarthritis. We should start noticing the patient as soon as he enters in our clinic by inspecting how the way he walks and what joint is exactly affected. There can be tenderness of the joints, crepitus and moving the joint, irregular and enlarged looking joint due to osteophytes and loose bodies, effusion, that is swelling, terminal limitations of the joint movement, subluxation detected on ligament testing, and there can be some deformities and wasting of the muscles too. We should check for the various range of motion of different joints affected by maneuvers. The hypertrophic changes can be seen on inspection. Limitations of the range of motion, crepitus, etc. Everything should be examined. Swelling can be examined. Synovial effusion can be examined by various examination given by my friends in the previous videos. Investigation, radiological examination seen a narrowing of joint space, subchondral sclerosis, subchondral cyst, osteophytic spurs, loose body, deformity of the joint. Most commonly affected joints here we can see are neck, shoulder, hands, back, knee and hips, and definitely phalangeal joints. These are the radiological findings which we will find in a patient of osteoarthritis. See here, it's an X-ray of knee joint of AP view showing osteophytes, reduced joint space, sclerosis. Below, we can see medial joint space narrowing, marginal osteophytes. Here we can see the deformity, the nodes, bony enlargement, and in X-ray, here we can see osteophytes, hyperextension of first metacarpal joint, the subchondral sclerosis. This is Hebordens and Bouchard's notes. This is osteoarthritis of hip joint showing joint space narrowing, osteophytes of the femoral head, and osteophytes here below also. Now we will see the changes in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 of osteoarthritis. Other tests which should be done is first of all CBC, serum calcium levels, LFT, thyroid profile, and mainly rheumatoid factor to remove rheumatoid arthritis from our head. The test should be done is ESR, serum uric acid to rule out gout, arthroscopy, synovial fluid analysis to rule out CPPD and aptate crystals. Main important test is rheumatoid factor test, which should be asked to the patient to rule out rheumatoid arthritis. Treatment approach is to delay the occurrence of disease by healthy lifestyle changes, to stall the progress of disease in early stage, to rehabilitate the patient with or without surgery if the joint disability can be partially or completely elevated, and if surgery is needed, then we should counsel the patient the importance of surgery and some of the lifestyle changes definitely. These are the changes which the person can adopt. First is weight management, cold and hot therapies, getting more exercise, doing yoga, mainly counseling the patients to not stress out, to get a balanced diet and move smartly about it. This is a diet plan which we have to manage according to the needs of the patient, according to his weight and how much the weight should be reduced according to the need of the patient. Definitely he is veg, non-vegetarian, what is the weight of the patient, how much the weight is to be lost, how much calorie the person needs. These are the exercises which I have explained, which we can direct our patients in our clinics to do. Some of them are knee flexion, hamstring stretch, leg flexion, hip extension, stairs step ups, up and downs, leg lifts, heel slide, knee extension. These are for knee OA. Further, I'll be telling you all these exercises for hip OA, which the person can easily do using a chair, a band, or stairs at anywhere it is, office, at home, at anywhere the person needs it. We can ask the patient to start some other activities which the person like dancing, like swimming, but not giving too much stress to the joint as they may injure the joint. Some of the hip exercises we can advise the patient suffering from hip OA. Supportive line of treatment is weight reduction, avoidance of stress, local hot application, mainly, and call fermentation if the person feels good by that. Local application like palm liniment spray, splints, braces, support, or cane can be used. Mainly, supplements like multivitamins and calcium to be advised to the patient. Plus, the diet changes and lifestyle changes. It's our duty to inform the patient whenever surgery is needed, to introduce them the pre and post operative lifestyle changes. We should take the consent before starting the treatment. Still, the patient is opting for palliative treatment for the pain and other sufferings, then it's okay. These are some of the surgical options for knee osteoarthritis. Arthroscopic debridement seen in mild osteoarthritis, displaced meniscal tear, increasing pain, or bone marrow lesions are not seen. Osteotomies for younger patients, ligament stability, preoperative range of motion is more than 90%. These are some of the surgical operations for hip osteoarthritis. This is same osteotropic debridement, osteotomies, total hip arthroplasty, hip resurfacing, mainly seen in young males. Now we will see what are the differential diagnoses. Arthritis, we have seen osteoarthritis. Now we will see inflammatory arthritis like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. Crystal induced arthritis have two: gout and pseudo gout, and septic arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis is seen with a history of patients suffering from psoriasis. Rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic systemic inflammatory disease whose hallmark feature is persistent symmetric polyarthritis. Rheumatoid factor is positive, elevated ESR and CRP can be seen, is associated with prominent prolonged pain in morning stiffness, swollen warm joints. Radiographic findings are bony erosions, osteopenia. Gout and pseudogout are two most common crystal-induced arthropathies. Gout is caused by monosodium urate monohydrate crystal, while pseudogout is produced by calcium pyrophosphate crystal and is more accurately termed as calcium pyrophosphate disease. The physical findings seen in gouts are as follows. Signs of inflammation. This is a comparison chart between osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, gout. Genetic factors seen, gender seen, age of onset seen, severity, speed of onset, disease process, and various causes. The various causes we should keep in mind before treating the patients, because the signs are same in all the three, like swelling of the joint, pain in range of movements, etc. Presence of symptoms, joint symptoms, pattern of joint involvement, all these things are very important while treating a patient and while examining and labeling them as osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or gouty patients. Our devices like X-ray, CT scan, MRI, everything depends on clinical examination what we do. This is a simple differential diagnosis chart I have explained. Rheumatoid arthritis is inflammatory disease, gout is metabolic, osteoarthritis is degenerative. In rheumatoid arthritis, the main thing is Swan-neck deformity, ulnar deviation, and mainly is the swelling and stiffness of the joint, which is seen mostly in the morning period. This is the X-ray of gouty tophi seen in gout. While in osteoarthritis, we will see the swelling, pain, severity mostly at the evening time.